Hello and welcome to this week's What's Hot. Now, if you've forgiven me for my part in starting the panic at the petrol pumps, then maybe this week you'll have less patience with me because it is only 66 days until Christmas. Now, I've got some of last year's gifts still left over after last year's Christmas was so cruelly cancelled at the last minute. I just can't remember how many of them were perishables, but I'm sure we will find out in 66 days' time. So in terms of companies recruiting for Christmas, there's a call out for staff from Amazon, Domino's Pizza, Asda. Now, Asda opened its Christmas delivery slots today being Tuesday, the 19th of October. So what I've been doing is looking for listed workwear or apparel companies that will be able to take advantage of this surge in seasonal demand. But I haven't been that successful. I have managed to find here in the UK Orbit International. They are family owned, but they do partner with listed companies such as Skechers, recently highlighted by the Motley Fool as an apparel maker to watch, as well as TK Maxx, which is part of the dividend paying TJX groups of companies. Now, of course, these companies are listed in the US. And if you are unsure about how to trade non-UK companies, then there's a very well written article by James Norris. Go to the Armchair Trader, and he talks about buying Canadian and US listed companies. Well, Tesco, meanwhile, has found a novel way to dispense of some of its checkout staff via a checkout-free store in central London where people can shop without having to scan a product. Now, the new format is known as Get Go. It's a combination of cameras and weight sensors which establish what customers have picked up and charge them for products directly through the app when they leave the shop. Well, in other corporate news, Tesco has this week started its share buyback program, which shouldn't exceed £500 million. A very interesting move, just as we learned that Morrison's has been bought and Sainsbury's and even Ocado are being eyed up by potential suitors. And as City AM's Emily Hawkins writes, it's a real supermarket sweep. I did, though, say I would return to Asda. Keep an eye on that business because there's a lot happening. I'll try and be brief, but the story goes something along the lines of this. Mohsen and Zuba Issa, they agreed to buy Asda last year. Now, they had planned to finance that acquisition in part by selling the petrol stations at Asda to their own forecourts business, e.g. for £750 million. They have changed their mind, and it does add a lot to the debt burden because Asda is already saddled with £3.7 billion worth of junk rated debt. Mind you, perhaps the owners of Asda could get a sub from Bellway, not a sandwich, but a loan, because during the pandemic, the housebuilder heaped cash onto its balance sheet, cutting back dividends and taking advantage of strong demand. Bellway ending the year with net cash of £330 million. That's it for this week. Plenty going on. Take care. I'll be back same time next week.